We're also going to talk a little bit about some products coming up. And I asked the guys to give me the morning, the opening of things to really give you, as the leaders, right? This is Success Club. What's represented here are leaders of this thing called Team Beachbody. And I wanted to give you a sense of where I felt the business was going, what I thought is possible. Because if you look at where we came from, even when we launched the thing in 2007, and where we thought it might go, and just how it would grow, we had no idea actually how it would grow. We had no idea what the shape would be. We thought we had a vision, and but as you know, success or progress doesn't happen in a straight line. It's sort of this jagged line where you bounce from mistake to mistake and success to success and so on, and you find hopefully that you've put together more successes than you do things that you're less than proud of. But at the same time, you have to learn along the way. The things that don't work so well for you have got to have an outcome that makes you better. Otherwise, you find yourself to begin into a tailspin. So when John and I started the company in 1998, we started to raise the money. I can remember having conversations with prospective investors, and they would ask, who needs another fitness company? There's plenty of fitness infomercial companies, and there's gyms everywhere, and there's diet drinks, and there's plenty of solutions out there. What makes you think that this little bit of money that you're raising could possibly find traction in this marketplace? And my response was that something was not working about the business of gyms and about the business of equipment. For some reason, infomercials were marketing some new gadget every year, some new gimmick or weight loss sort of miracle pill. So there's an opportunity there, and I had seen that with the prior company with 8-minute abs, and we intended to test that. But of course, if it didn't work, we were prepared to try the next thing. We had a whole list of ideas that we were going to try. But the underlying concept that we started with was, if we could make the living room or the garage or the home as gratifying as a place to work out as the gym, if we could get people better results than they get in the gym, then that is going to be a multi-billion-dollar opportunity for us. And so, of course, that pitch kind of worked, and we raised the money, and we got going. And it got started with this thing, Great Abs Guaranteed, that we hired Tony Horton, and I think it was like $500 bucks. We shot these things out on the beach and put it on the air, and that thing worked. We had a 60-second and a 2-minute commercial, and it started to work. We started to see success. But it wasn't enough money for us to just say, all right, let's just go do this. I mean, we had to find other ways to make money. So we did it through consulting. We started to develop other products and so on, which meant that what I'm saying is there was failure in that beginning, okay? And in that first year, 1999, the company did $800,000 in sales. So the first year, 1999, first full year, $800,000 in sales. We do that now by lunch.
Woo!
Not too bad. Assuming lunch is Shakeology, of course. And then really in our first full calendar year was $6 million when we had Thin Thighs Guaranteed and Great Abs Guaranteed. But my point is, that first year, John and I weren't pulling any money out of the company. Everything was getting reinvested. We were trying to make it work, and we had to try to find ways to make ends meet. Okay, so on the National Wake Up Call, we heard, you can't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20, right? I mean, great advice. And it was the same way for us as a company. We saw the potential for a $1 billion opportunity. I mean, at that point, we weren't even thinking that big. It was like, we'd love to see a $100 million opportunity per year. But we knew we needed to just start and try to be smart and try to move things along. And there was a little breakthrough when we got done the first year of Great Abs Guaranteed and Thin Thighs Guaranteed, and we got a testimonial from a woman. She sent in her photos, and it was amazing. Like, she really actually got thin thighs because we had guaranteed it. And so we used her before and after photos in the commercial, and that commercial continued to roll out. We started the development of Power 90, and actually what you might not know, it's an interesting little anecdote. The first half-hour infomercial that we ever did was called Winning Results, Lose 10 in 21 Days. Our very first program was a 21-day weight loss program that had a little flip book and stuff, and I think it was $30 or $40. And the guy we developed that with, and just to show you how broke we were, I was the host of the infomercial. Like, I was, you know, I was like Larry King. He had it like on this backdrop. So, Dan, tell me, like hysterical. I mean, meanwhile, like, we were bootstrapping it so much that literally there was this one woman who had lost, like, she was doing round after round of it. She was down in Orange County. And I would meet her when she got off work, and like, I'm shooting her. You know, she's doing great with it. Like this whole thing. So, you know, we were just trying to make it work. We weren't comparing ourselves to the big infomercial companies that we had worked for. We were just trying to make it work. Now, interesting story when you talk about where you think you're going to go and where you might not go. The guy who brought that product to us, his name was Dan. We were about to re-edit the show because the first test of that show didn't work so well. So we were about to re-edit it. And remember, we were very thinly capitalized. And it was going to cost us about $50,000 to re-edit it, but it was close to working on TV, so we were going to do it. And he came to us and he said, "Hey guys, I was talking to this guy in Raleigh who's an infomercial, super experienced, super successful guy, and he's never heard of you guys. So he has this idea of taking my concept and turning it into weight loss centers. Like, remember like Nutrisystem weight loss centers and Weight Watchers? So they wanted to do that with his Winning Results program. And I looked at it, and I looked at him and I said, well, look, Dan, we only want to work with people who want to work with us. So if that's the direction that you want to go ahead, you know, do your thing. Well, needless to say, that never materialized for him. He was dealing with a guy who was a get-rich-quick guy, and if it was not easy and he couldn't find an angle and a way to put the screws to Dan, he was not going to invest in it. And there is not a year that goes by now that I don't get a call from Dan saying, I wish I had believed in what you guys were doing and stayed with you. And my point about this is, I mean, and I'm talking about 2001, 2002, even before the company had really gotten traction on what the vision was. My point is, you've got coaches right now who are going to have a heart-to-heart with you over the course of time. And they're going to say, you know, they're going to, or even prospects, and they'll talk to you and they'll say, well, look, you got almost 290,000 coaches now. That opportunity, that ship has sailed. It's too late for me. And you can say, sure, that's where things are, or you can be in the camp where I am, and that is, we're just getting started. We're just figuring this thing out. As you know, we're still fighting customer service issues, trying to figure out what the most efficient way to deal with coach relations and customer service. We're still sort of, while this massive plane is in flight, we're trying to rewire all the very intricate technology systems and make it so that we can manage this very complex business without having to just say, okay, stop for 6 months, let us fix it all, and then we'll get it, and then we'll launch it again. No, we got to keep in business. So while we're fixing all this stuff, and many people could be like, oh, I got the wrong Shakeology again, or the fulfillment, there's real fulfillment issues, and then in today's world, one post on Facebook makes it look like it's a problem that hundreds of thousands of people are having, when it's actually, when we look at the percentages are very small. So you can take this sort of negative outlook like, oh, the opportunity has already sailed, or there's operational or customer service or whatever types of issues that you could look at. If you're a cynic, you look at that company and you go, that's just another one of those, or that opportunity is already done. Or you can look at it from my perspective. And here's my perspective. I never, in my life, I always wanted to be in business, right? And I've told this story before about how when I was in 3rd grade, how excited I was when I got a briefcase for my birthday, and that's what I could carry my books to school. The other kids had backpacks, I had my briefcase. And I will say I'm very proud of my 7-year-old son, because his favorite Christmas present was the safe, this combination lock safe, that he keeps all his money and jewels in. Proud. So, you know, I've told that story that I always